Now, today's top stories and Power of 5 weather from News 5. Sponsored by Akron Children's Hospital.
Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio, on this 14th of November. Big day at the White House tomorrow as President Biden will gather members of Congress for the signing of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Once he puts his pen to paper, it will open the door for $1.2 trillion in spending, a fair share of that heading Ohio's way. For decades, Ohioans have paid the cost for bad infrastructure. The White House estimates to the tune of $506 in costs each year due to bad roads. The American Society of Civil Engineers gives a grade of C- and our bridges a D. Ohio can expect to see $9.2 billion for its highway work and another $500 million for bridges in the just passed infrastructure package. But there's more.
I see that there's going to be a lot of benefit in the city of Cleveland for the people of Cleveland.
Maria Fernandez is the FTA administrator. A key area she'll be looking towards is money to help RTA modernizing its system. 16% of the state's trains and transit vehicles are past their useful life, and each RTA rail car costs $3 million to replace.
Their infrastructure is at a place where they are making decisions about how they're going to be replacing those assets. And this funding will allow them to do that and do it much sooner than later.
There will also be money for airports, which could play into Cleveland Hopkins' 20-year plan for $2 billion in upgrades. And there's money for Amtrak to pursue new service like 3C plus D, a plan to connect Cleveland and Cincinnati by rail with connections in Columbus and Dayton. The state would have to sign off on that, which the governor says he will not do until he learns the long-term cost to the state. Well, there's also $17 billion in this package for ports, and while attention these days is focused on the East, West, and Gulf Coasts, don't forget about the North Coast, and not just Cleveland. The Cole Bridge over the Ashtabula River stands as both a symbol of this region's industrial and shipping past and a reminder of what could once again be in this community that is home to one of the Great Lakes' first ports.
When we look at the development of the U.S. economy, it was fueled in large parts by ports like Ashtabula, ports like Conneaut.
And they still quietly play a role in that today. So as they look at the global supply chain issues, they say, why not us?
We absolutely can't help with this.
Jim Hockaday is Conneaut city manager.
What most people don't understand is Ashtabula, Conneaut, Cleveland's port, we're all linked by rails, and we're linked and proximate to all these major markets.
These two ports are ripe to take on more work, but a lot of this current infrastructure here was built up more than a half century ago.
We need that infrastructure to be improved in order to bring that cargo in and get it out to the United States and other countries for that matter.
Enter the infrastructure bill and the $17 billion it brings to ports alone. And while many older ports are landlocked, Ashtabula and Conneaut are not.
So these were industrial sites. So rather than creating industrial sites somewhere else, building them here where we already have the infrastructure is really the key component.
That's why the Port Authority and city leaders were showing Senator Sherrod Brown today what could be accomplished with his help in carving out a piece of that $17 billion pie.
This is a once-in-a-generational opportunity for us. It truly is.
Senator Brown said there will be formulas involved in determining some of what ports get what, but he will do what he can to translate what he saw this day, what this place can do.
I talked this week to Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, about a number of infrastructure things, from public transit to things like ports, and we will be on the map, and I will make sure of that.
Supply chain issues we know are causing problems for retailers of all sizes this holiday season, but there's still roughly 6 weeks to Christmas. But for one specialty Cleveland business, their window to move their product is a heck of a lot shorter. M&M Wintergreens is a middleman for your holiday greenery, taking in shipments of cedar, pine, juniper, and boxwood, to name a few, from as far away as the Pacific Northwest, and then shipping it back out to customers in garden centers in 31 states. This week and next are historically their busiest.
With most companies doing 52 weeks, we have to do in 2.
In past years at this time, the inside of this refrigerated warehouse at Fulton and Denison looked and smelled like the top of a mountain. This year, while the customers are lined up, the product is not.
I mean, we're more empty at this point than we ever are. Where you've got some empty bins, this would be probably 3 bins full all the way down, front cooler, back cooler, completely filled up.
Many factors are at play, labor though being the big one, starting at the source, the cutters.
One of my major suppliers, for example, they ship 10 semis a day out of their out of their facility. This year they're lucky if they get 3 of them out a day.
And the cost of those truckloads?
We would normally tell our customers freight would be for them 15 to 30%. This year we've had some orders where the actual freight was 110% of their order. 110%, that's huge.
A cost that is eventually passed on to consumers who are not turned away by it.
The demand's up even more. People want real product. There's not anything artificial out there like this.
We're turning business away. I had a Canadian supplier contact us last month. He was looking for 1.5 million pounds of greens that he can't get.
Still, Michael works with a smile fueled by the smell of this place and the joy it in turn brings to consumers who may not have it by Thanksgiving as they'd like, but who know it is coming. So you may ask, why not just start cutting sooner? Well, they explain you have to wait until the first frost because that's what glues the needles in place and enables the clippings to last all winter long. With Democracy 2021, I'm John Kosick. Enjoy your Sunday.
Winter is returning to Northeast Ohio with snow chances increasing throughout the morning and early afternoon. Periods of time with rain mixing in, but there also could be some heavier bands of snow where you get a quick covering and lower visibility. Most of us are going to pick up about 1 to 2 inches of snow, but lower totals to the west, higher totals in our snow belt up to about 3 inches there.
Sponsored by Akron Children's Hospital.